Today we're going to paint a watercolor bird's nest abstract style. Hi, I'm Kellie Chasse. Welcome to my YouTube channel where I have new videos every Tuesday at 9 a.m. Eastern Standard Time. So make sure you click that subscribe button, click the little bell, and you'll never miss one. I also have full monthly online classes and tutorials on my website at www.kellychassefineart.com, and I do have over 10,000 students and over 15 years of experience teaching art classes. And right now on my website I do have a resin bundle spring sale going on. It's 4 of my resin classes for only $34.99, and that is an $89 value. It's US, and the sale actually runs through May 4th. So if you head over there to check that out, it comes with the new Geo class that just released, last month's class, the abstract fluid art, jewelry class, and then also resin on glass. So if you have a chance, head over to my website and check them out. Hey everyone, it's Kellie here. So this week we're going to paint a watercolor bird's nest, and this is my little crazy nest. This is how my mind was thinking this day, and this is why. Birds have been hitting my new windows, and I tried last year to put these little stickers up. They're supposedly from the Audubon Society, and it was supposed to work, but it did not work. I kept having them hit, and every time I'd hear the thud, I'd go down to look to see if a bird was down. So as you can imagine, it's pretty devastating. And one actually hit the window. It was a little sparrow, and I kept thinking, gosh, what else can I do? These new windows are so clean and so shiny, and we face the lake, so we have all this beautiful view and these gigantic windows. So since the Audubon things didn't work, they were fine last year for the most part because most of the birds, we're familiar with the area, and I think it's just the new ones that are coming in because we've had some different types of or different species of birds coming in, which is really exciting. But I felt horrible, so I bought a new rack and moved the bird feeder way away from the window. I read up on it, and it was supposedly 30 feet away. The bird that hit the window, by the way, I went outside. I went to go pick them up with a little paper towel because I read up on you're supposed to put them in a paper towel in a little box, keep them in a dark, safe, warm place until they wake up. And I was just thinking, oh my gosh, please do not have broken your neck. So I went out, picked him up. When I went to pick him up, he actually got up and flew away. So I was so excited. So I immediately took down the bird feeder, went out and got the hook, and we moved it. And I'm happy to say that we have not had one hit since. So yay. It's just devastating to have these little birds do this. But I wanted to be able to feed them. I don't know. It makes you wonder. Some people say it's good to feed the birds. Some say it's not. But anywho, my eggs here, these are little eggs that I am creating. I'm using my little Cotman kit, and I'm doing this wet and wet. I'm using the colors ultramarine blue first, and then I tapped in a little bit of the yellow ochre, and then just a hint of that, what is it, emerald green, I believe. So just a little bit of wet and wet here. And the brush that I'm using today is my sable brush. It is one of my Kolinsky brushes. As you all know, I'm always talking about these brushes. I love these brushes. I did, however, just order, because I saw someone, I've been doing those flowers lately, and someone ordered a brush by Susan Louise Moyer. They're called Silver Brush Limited. So I bought those. I've got those. They just landed from Amazon today, so I'm going to try those out, hopefully for next week, and see how that goes. They've got a really good point on them. So before I add any more to the eggs, I'm just going to quickly blow dry them, making sure that they are completely dry before we start the crazy nest around it. So I decided just to add just a little bit more color to it, and then I'm going to go in with a wet mop brush here and just fill this in very lightly with a little bit of the yellow ochre. We're going to add a little bit of, I think it was a little mixture of the ultramarine blue and the burnt umber, and then a little bit more of that lighter shade of ochre on top, adding a little bit darker shades around here. I'm doing this all just wet and wet, little teal, just getting some color, laying some color in here, and then I'm going to give this a quick blow dry here. Now this one was going to be, this was one of my warm-up paintings, and I just wanted it to be something that was very free-flowing and not exact, more abstract, and I like to do that for my warm-up paintings, as you well know. So I'm going to blow dry it, and we are going to go back in and do a little bit more details once this is dry. I think we're dry here. So this is the fun part of watercolor, is the playing and being messy and just getting creative. I think the more that you do your warm-ups before you start one of your major paintings, sometimes the better your paintings can be because you've got a little bit of your flow in your groove on. So when I first start out, I love to do these little warm-ups. So I'm getting very messy here, using just the tip of the brush, just making them some little swirl action, trying to get that look of sticks that those birds are sticking, and they're all coming in at different angles. So you'll notice I'm drying this one a lot. I want to make sure between each step I'm drying it so that I don't get any color into the rest of the areas. So now comes the fun part. Now you guys were asking me last week what this pen was. I had used this one the other day too, and someone had sent me a note and said, Kelly, what is that? And I can't tell you because I think it's from Staples, and I got it during the back to school sale that ended last year. But I can tell you it's just basically a very fine tip, like Sharpie or a micro pen is what it is. Actually, it's more like a micro pen, the shape, because it's so tiny. I don't know if they still have them anymore, but if they don't have them, a micro pen will work for you. And this one is just about ready to run out of ink. I've been using it for a while. So I just basically outlined those eggs. Again, this is part of the doodles, part of the fun. You know, it's when I'm in this mode, I'm really not thinking, I'm just creating. And that's the best part about this. You know, I don't worry about it. And I think it's just such great art therapy for you. So if you're one of those people that get really frustrated, everything has to be perfect, I challenge you to try a watercolor like this and just have fun. So many people have taken the Zen Doodle class that I did. I know it's a short class, but they love it, and you really can take that in any direction. This is kind of like that, but we're using watercolor. But it's just a place where you kind of just get into the mood, and it's just a real fun vibe. So I'm just going to continue to add some layers to it and build upon this, because right now it just looks like it's not quite finished. We're going to add a little bit of splatter here. Looking better. Those eggs always have little speckles on them. And I'm a big fan of splattering. I think it's, again, for warm-ups and stuff, it's just so much fun. Flying paint everywhere. Let's add a little bit of blue to it. Pretty. So I think I'm going to dry this, and then we'll add just a little bit more depth in here. So it's just not, it just seems too light for me. I tend to do a lot of layers on my watercolors. Mine are not usually transparent by the time I'm done, and that's just the way that I like to paint. I do lots of layers, and I get heavy on the details sometimes, and you know, I just kind of go with my flow and the feel. Sometimes they're light, but not very often. So I think this is good enough. This is dry now, and I'm going to grab my brush and go in with some darker values. Now, I like to make my own black a lot of times using the ultramarine blue and the umber. And you can see I started a little bit. I got a little bit of that darker shade in here with some of the brush strokes already, but we're going to continue to add that. I'm going to darken in around the eggs just a little bit more here. I have to laugh. We have a plane taking off on the lake right now. It's action. It's already happening. The ice just went out, and we've got boats in the water, and there were seagulls the other night. There must have been 100 of them out there at the sunset. It was pretty wild. So I was really fast. I grabbed my camera and I figured you might want to take a look at it. Oh, he's taking off again. They're landing and taking off. Fun. So that's pretty cool. It's like the summer activities have already begun and it's April. We're not quite May yet. Woohoo! Here's a close-up. He actually spun around and then came right over. I think he thought he saw me filming. That's my guess. So he did a flyby for me. Here they come. Right up over my head here. Alright, so that's probably enough of the plane. You guys ready to get back to the painting? I'm going back inside. Alright, so here we are back inside. And I am mixing up a little bit more of that darker shade now. And I like to mix my own dark grays or almost black. And I like to do that by using the burnt umber and the ultramarine blue. And go just a little bit darker than what we had. So a little bit less water. And just going to darken around those eggs to make them pop just a little bit more. So it looks like it's a little deeper now in the middle where the eggs would sit in the nest. Again, I'm going to blow dry. We're going to add a little bit more pen details here. And there's a lot of blow drying with this one because I don't want to have this wet while I'm using the pen, because obviously the pen is not going to work very well if the watercolor or the paper is wet. So going back in with that pen and just darkening a little bit more around the eggs on the bottom. Again, very free-flowing way to do this, which I absolutely love to do. You get to experience it. I'm not, planning things. It's just you go with the feel of how the painting's going, and that's some of the best things to do. So this is not, it's very messy, very circular, very scribbly, and now I am just going to town with some of those scribbles. They'll use pieces of string. They use anything they could find in these birds' nests, so the messier it is, the better. Scribbling outside the lines here, folks. So here's the finished piece. I went back in with just a little bit more of the Posca pen. Had a great time with it. I hope you enjoy it. I hope to see yours. If you want to go in and tag me on Instagram, if you go ahead and try this, I'd love to see it. Here's the Posca pen going in with just a little bit more detail, a couple more little highlights in here. It's just fun. So tag me, and I would love to see your little crazy bird's nests. And if you guys, let me know down below if you guys feed birds or not. Do you feed your birds? I'm thinking, although now they're away from the feeder, or the feeder's away from the window a little bit more. So that's a plus. So I'd love to hear from you. Hope you enjoyed it. Make sure you give this video a like and a share. As I've always said, if you continue to click that like button and the share button, it helps grow our channel and it allows me to do more free content on here for you. So take care, and as always, have a great week, you guys. Talk to you soon. Bye-bye.